What made you shave all the hair off, Rekkles?
Oh,
Did you
okay,
just decide it was too
away.
hot?
That's fine, it's fine. It's good. I want to talk about
Everyone
Solo
wants to know.
Wow.
Hola! Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fnatic Live. This is the first LEC Warmup of summer 2020. We've got an amazing first summer split show for you. Let me introduce to you guys our very, very special guest host this evening, LEC Colorcaster, and probably the best dressed member of the broadcast crew over there at the LEC. It's Froskurinn.
I mean, you say
Hello,
that, and I'm like
Frosk.
rocking on, looking like working at a McDonald's.
Are you saying the Fnatic hoodie looks like a McDonald's uniform?
I would never say that, but I am saying that there are certain color coordinations and the accents are a little bit close here. I have the pink Hello Kitty Fnatic jersey, and then I also have your guys' world like polo thing, and I run in it. And I was running around my neighborhood, which is in Boxy and Friedrichshain, and I had someone literally yell. He was like, "Is that Froskurinn? What the f-" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Have to change my route.
Frosk, you have a very storied history within League of Legends and casting, and I wanted to go back and take a look a bit more at your career. Basically, my first question to you is, how did you get into League of Legends?
I feel like people always start with the how did you get into League of Legends or how did you get into esports, when I find that, because everyone has this story, the more interesting one is always like, why did you get into League of Legends, into esports? And it's usually kind of the same story every single time. It's the idea of obsession. You just grab hold of something and it suddenly becomes like your life. And I think that is how and why I got into esports.
Tell us about your coaching career.
I used to pick up contracts for teams when they would go into Worlds, mostly some of the Brazilian squads when they would go for Worlds, and I'd help them do the preparation on like the LPL teams. But like my first like big coaching job was with Dignitas EU that then became Splice. We couldn't promote them into the EULCS because at the time it was the like all Danish roster. They were too young.
And then you transitioned into casting. You became the first English language female caster to be on the main cast of a major League of Legends tournament. Do you see yourself as somewhat of a trailblazer for those that are coming up now?
I think every caster at the very beginning was a trailblazer because the scene didn't have a clear trajectory about, if I wanted to become a caster, I can go to Riot's website and I can send in an application, or I can send out my resume to Trevor and have him communicate. It was just kind of like, again, you have an obsession, you have a passion, and my obsession was the LPL, the Chinese league.
For now, though, I want to move on to a game that we like to play here on LEC Warmup. It's called Over Underrated, just to get to know you a little bit better, Frosk. All right, first one, 80 carries at the moment.
Overrated. Actually, it depends on what region you're in. If you're in the LPL, they're definitely underrated. And Europe, underrated.
Second topic, Vedius's horse riding skills.
Overrated. He didn't even ride that horse. They set him gently on it.
Something that's close to your heart, I know, sneakers.
Underrated. I don't understand why people don't get more on the hype of the sneaker game. Like, shoes are really important. They can make or break the outfit. And they show like the little cherry on top. Like, your outfit can be totally fly, but if the sneakers are a complete disaster, like GTFO.
I know you've had a lot of issues about this lately. Having internet, is it over or underrated?
That is so underrated. Oh man, I don't know what type of porn Vedius is downloading, but it just destroyed our internet when we came into quarantine. I cannot. We had, I'm not joking, 10 download and 2 upload.
Next topic, LPL.
I would say underrated still, just because I'm glad that people are finally awake to the greatness that is the LPL and the amazingness that is the LPL.
Next one is jungle role.
Underrated.
Better jungler wins, I guess.
Jungle difference is all it takes.
LEC, over or underrated? And we're talking about the league here.
Underrated. People seem to think that we just have a 2-team league. You listen to NA, that rap battle that Clayton did with Dracos, and he's like, oh, you just got G2 and there's no other team. People always forget that we have at least 2 world-class teams. We got all 3 seeds out of Worlds last time around. This time around, Origin are a strong team. I know that they're boring, but they're really good. So we can just all agree on that. Mad Lions are looking hot. Misfits just got Kabe back. Schalke, now that they no longer have to play with the 0-6 Forgiven start, are actually going to be a competent team now.
Next one, I've seen you started doing this, home cooking.
I I'm so bad at cooking. It is definitely underrated. Like, I feel like people got into quarantine and they were locked inside, and then suddenly all these people had to like learn how to adult and adult in like the most basic ways. So like, how do I boil water? How do I cook pasta? I had to do his shame. He had like 25 pizza boxes. Okay, this man lived off pizza in quarantine. And I had to do the walk of shame where I took his recycling out. People were judging me on the street for walking by with like this stack of empty pizza boxes. He cooks 2 meals, the same meals every time. And it's the most bullshit tuna. And as soon as he opens up that can, I smell it for hours. It's
Holy
awful.
shit.
This man overcooks pasta. Overcooks it. He leaves it to boil and then he just pisses off, and I don't know what he does. He goes and plays like a ranked game. He comes back an hour later and he's like, yes, disintegrated pasta, just as I like it. And then he pours it into his bowl. He
It's
opens
just
a can
mush.
of tuna, throws it on, throws some peas on there, not even done. Takes the ketchup bottle, douses that thing in ketchup, and then he eats it.
A couple of viewer questions. Asola wanted to know how sharing an apartment with Vedius. I love your tweets about it.
Majority of the time, Vedius is perfectly fine to live with because he just stays in his room and he's really quiet. Here's the thing, Vedius and I are kind of like the same person. We're really quiet. We stay in our space. Like, we don't need a lot of interaction, like cuddle time.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the LPL and, by extension, the mid-season cup that happened during off-season. 3 out of 4 teams in the semis, 2 LPL teams in the finals. Complete domination, I would say. Are you surprised?
No, not particularly, but I guess. So I saw a lot of conversation on Twitter that people were, FPX had their initial game with T1 and basically just like ran it down. Like, TN had one of the worst Kindred performances I think I'd ever seen. It looked like he just removed the R button from his keyboard. He was 6 seconds late every single time, and I think LS, just like hilarious, was like, I don't know if you can blame that on the 30 ping. Like, there's one too many times that's been happening. And I think that kind of shifted the narrative, like pretty early on, that the LCK fans felt really confident. If you were an LPL fan and you thought that FPX were going to be your savers, and if you thought that Invictus Gaming were going to be your savers, have I got some news for you. That team is garbage. Invictus Gaming, I saw like someone on Twitter, one of the LPL guys was like, so excited to put all my eggs in the Invictus Gaming basket. I was like, oh, you poor sweet summer child. I know that you've been past the LPL for like 6 months now, but let me tell you, if you're ever thinking, thank goodness we have Invictus Gaming, you've already lost. Like, you have gone so downhill.
Last question I have for you about the LPL. Where would, let's say, G2 and Fnatic fit in to the LPL?
I think to win the LPL, you always have to be, you have to have good team fighting. Like, that has to be like a solid, just because there's so much fighting in the region. But because G2 and Fnatic are so competent at skirmishes and team fighting, as well as the depth of their champion pools, the flexibility, the creativity, I actually would say that they'd probably do fine in the LPL. I don't necessarily think if they'd win it, but I would assume that G2 and Fnatic would at least be top 4, top 3.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. We can move on. We can finally bring on Rekkles. Are you there, Mr. Rekkles?
Can you hear me?
Rekkles got the cue. He like knows that it's time to like wear hats. What made you shave all the hair off, Rekkles? Did you just decide it was too hot?
That's fine. It's fine. It's good. I want to talk about
Everyone
it.
wants to know.
So I've always wanted to know how I look without hair. Mostly because my dad is bald, and I know it's coming with the years. So I want to know how I'm gonna be. And I figured now with the quarantine and everything, it's a good time to try it. I don't like it personally, so I'm gonna let it grow out again. But it was good to know.
Let's move on to something a bit more serious now. Rekkles, during the week, we recorded a little message to Uzi. When did you become a fan of Uzi, Martin?
I guess as I told you when I saw his Vayne play at 2013 Worlds against, I think they're playing against OMG in the quarterfinals. And I was a big Vayne player myself at the time. So I thought that was like a very cool moment of his, and ever since I've just been following him.
I remember you telling me that even though this is not the most flashiest play by today's standards, back then an AD carry having the balls to go in and do those kind of things was never before seen.
Like Uzi to me is much more aligned with my own career because we were playing alongside each other, I guess, for 7 or 8 years.
You guys had
now.
your highs at the same time.
How did you feel, Rekkles, when you heard the news?
I felt like my generation is coming to an end. I'm used to being the young guy, but I guess nowadays I'm the old guy. So it's very strange to see someone from my own generation retire.
How are you feeling about the new split, Martin?
I guess it feels pretty good. I mean, it's always the same, you know. You start the practice again, and then it's a bit shaky, and you get all these thoughts in your head that maybe we don't have it in us anymore. But then you also realize that everyone's going through the same thing. So in the end, it's all about just sticking together. In the end, I've always felt like the team that succeeds is the team that has the best sort of like atmosphere or process during the split. It's never been the one that starts off the best.
You guys also have like the most softball schedule. That's what Misfits into Vitality into Excel.
I would actually prefer to start with tougher opponents though. If by any means now we lose games, then it might be a stress factor. My, how would you say, goal as a leader here or a captain here would be that if we were to lose games, to keep the team together.
Let's talk about the 3 matches coming up. Misfits on Friday. So Frost, like, break it down. Like, Kobe coming back. Are you excited to see him back in EU? Do you think he's gonna step it up again, or do you think he's lost his edge while playing in NA?
I mean, Kobe's been grinding super hard. I think he hit the ground running. He got over jet lag immediately went into 2 weeks of grinding. They started scrims fairly early on, at least from what I could hear he was saying, and that they didn't feel that they were like super confident. Like every team that you talk to at the beginning of the split is like, yeah, we'll try our best. It's probably going to be shaky, but if everyone assumes that they're going to be shaky, then as Rekkles is saying, like anything can happen here. I don't think it inherently changes Misfit's style though of being a pretty mid jungle centric team.
Vitality on Saturday. A whole host of changes. So only Cabochard and Jack Troll are left.
There are some changes though, so they could potentially be stronger. They should potentially be stronger, but at the same time, they're also starting fresh. You know, it's hard to start fresh between spring and summer. I've been there. It's too much stress, I would say. So I think we should have the edge over them for sure. Same goes for Misfits. I feel like those teams with changes are in a very tough spot.
Excel, the third team we're playing on Sunday, also swapped out their top and mid. The Korean duo Mickey and Expect for I don't know how to say this name. Cries
and Special.
But how much do you know about these new players coming in to the LEC this split?
It's always exciting to have new names come into the LEC because Europe does have a great ecosystem for developing talent, but I don't expect to see like the same pop-off talent of like the Carzys or the Razorks or the Selfmades that we previously had with this like batch of rookies.
Some other changes that have happened in the offseason, obviously Perkz and Caps have reverse role swapped. What do you make of this, Rekkles? Do you think this is the better roster?
I mean, Caps and Perkz are very different players, so it's hard to say which roster is the best roster. I feel like it's going to depend on meta, it's going to depend on how they are on the day. I'm not really sure which one I would prefer to play against. As of late, I've felt like Caps is just a better player than Perkz, so it's a bit scarier to play against Caps in the bot lane. But at the same time, mid is a stronger role than AD carry, so maybe it is scarier as a team to play against Caps in the mid lane. I'm not really sure. It's not like you're picking between a really tough opponent and a really easy opponent. It's basically between picking the first and second guy, you know. So it's not really like a good choice. There's not really a good choice here.
I really liked the synergy that we saw from Perkz and Jankos in terms of like the mid jungle synergy. I think that Caps is a better player, but I just preferred like the playstyle that we saw when Perkz was in mid lane.
Dar and Taras from chat wants to know who is Rekkles most looking forward to facing in the bot lane this split.
I mean, Perkz, it's an easy answer. I feel like everyone always said he's so much better than me, so I feel like I have a good position here to prove everyone wrong and I don't know, get some fans, some Twitter followers. I don't know. Everyone's excited for that matchup, and so am I. So it's nice to have him back. It was like it was a banger last year all the time, so it's gonna be fun
for sure. But just last question before we go: what do you guys, Frost? What are you expecting to see out of the teams meta-wise?
I've heard very mixed opinions on set support. I feel like some supports I talked to, and they're like, set support's like the shit, and then other supports I talked to, like, set support is garbage. I expect to see a lot of Varus bans, Wukong and Renekton, strong blind picks from certain people, and I'm like, ooh, unless there's tanks. Ooh, yikes. Am I close, Rekkles? Am I throwing darts? Have I hit anything?
We've had a lot of people ask in chat about Rekkles, your nails. What's going on with them, man?
I think it looks good, so I figured why not. I know it can be a sensitive subject or topic, but if it feels right to me, then fuck it, honestly.
We do have to say goodbye to Rekkles now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me as well. It's nice to see you, Frosk.
Good luck with split.
I just want to finish the show on a bit of a fun note, and I want to talk about some of your other passions in life. Something that I know that you're really into is Animal Crossing.
It feels like Animal Crossing hit the perfect intersection at like quarantine and like internet collapsing, I'm not like a casual Animal Crossing player. I'm like a professional Animal Crosser.
Is there a esport for Animal Crossing? Like, I have no idea about this game. Like,
There's Sea Sport.
Sea Sport. What is that?
Yeah, I'm a professional Sea Sport. I make a lot of money on the Sea Sport market. I've participated multiple times, and I believe I hold multiple titles. Probably more than Fnatic hold.
What is the C stand for? Crossing?
No, it stands for sea, like the ocean.
Oh, the ocean.
Wait, you don't even know what world you're entering. The
What
one
is
person
your-
who plays Animal Crossing understands that joke, and they're losing it right now. Everyone else is like, what?
What is your island called?
My island is called Blue Whales. My girlfriend is doing her master's course in Cardiff, and Andy is a Welshman, so I spend a lot of time in Wales, and I just thought it was cute because I also love actual like mammal whales, so I named it Blue Whales.
Who are your villagers?
I'm trying to collect villagers right now and like scout out. I really want to collect only pink villagers, but right now I'm kind of on the fence because I have this koala named Alice, and like even though she doesn't really fit the color scheme that I'm working for, we've had some time. Like I always walk out of my house, she's my next door neighbor, she's always like sitting in the grass looking at flowers like magnifying glass. I'm like, that is so adorable. Other than those other assholes who are just like lifting weights in the plaza all day. So I'm really on the fence if like Alice is gonna make the cut. I think that she is. I've got this goat named Velma who I'm like, I don't know what this thing is, but it's like hot pink, kind of looks like a demon. It's coming on my island.
I have another question from Tanny. I'm adding a little bit to it. Who is Raymond and why is he overrated?
I think he's overpriced too. Like, let me check his eBay price.
What? There's an eBay?
He's $44.99 right now.
Is that
That's-
US dollars?
that's insane.
Or is that in
That's-
Animal Crossing currency?
That's US dollars. Get this
Oh.
cat with glasses.
Wait, so you have to buy things with real money?
No, you don't have to buy them, but there's the animal black market. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can use some bells, you can use some actual money, or we're doing like some trades. Like, we also have touching parties, which sounds much worse than it is.
What? What is a touching party?
A touching party is when you grab all of your items and you go to someone else's island and you drop the items and you just take turns picking them up, touching them, and setting them back down. So you don't take things from people, but as soon as you pick it up and you have it in your inventory, it appears in your catalog that you can go and buy it.
Last question about Animal Crossing. What are your turnip prices today?
I haven't checked since before noon, and they change 2 times a day, so I still have to check tonight to see what the turnip prices are.
What I'm getting from the vibe from this game is it's like Pokemon.
Listen, okay,
Kind of.
if hip hop beats to study and chill to was a video game and it intersected with a bonsai garden, that is Animal Crossing.
Everything is perfectly clear to me now. Thank you so much. That brings me into my next topic that I want to bring up with you. Something else that you're very good at is fashion, and I have no idea again what happens when it comes to fashion, but you have a hashtag called FrostFits. Guys, if you want to check it out on her Twitter. I've actually prepared a few looks myself. These are my, usual looks that I go for when I go out and about, go to work. I have 5 fits that I've prepared. I took some selfies in front of a mirror. My mirror is broken, guys. I know. Please don't call me out for it.
How
I
do you have a
broke it
broken
with my
mirror?
face.
What?
I broke it with my ugly face. No, it just fell over. Okay, it happens. Shit happens. Let's see the first one. This is my normal everyday fit. What do you think? Like, can you give it a rating and ways I can improve it?
What is that, Ultra Boost on your feet?
This is the
Okay.
sneaker.
Okay, so the denim jacket, denim is always going to be a staple of streetwear, and if you're trying to put together a minimalist streetwear outfit, you have basically 2 of like the most important staples of it, which is the plain tee and then the denim jacket. You definitely need to step up your shoe game right now. They are doing nothing for this outfit. I think you should need to tuck in your shirt, and you may feel ridiculous, but it will like change up the proportions a lot, so you're not just like that really big baggy rectangle on top, and then like these, like chicken legs that are like sliding out of this white shirt. Normally, you wouldn't wear white socks with a black pant, but I think because you're wearing a white t-shirt, it's fine.
I usually wear
I'd get
really colorful socks like these.
That's fine. Okay, maybe not that good.
What would you give this then out of a rating out of 10?
This is a pretty basic outfit. I'm gonna give you the solid like 5.
Very nice.
If this was
Alright,
a
let's-
kilo, this would be right at silver. Like you're putting it in.
I'm happy with that. I
But
was
you
silver
could
in game.
immediately make gold. if you just changed up your sock and shoe combo.
That wasn't too bad. Let's move on to fit number 2. It's when I'm the Fnatic super fan.
I feel like when you're doing a jersey outfit, like you're going to the LEC, and then let's say you gotta go to the game, and then you're meeting your Tinder date for like an immediate follow-up. I feel like you have to dress it up a little bit. You can't just go for the dark jean, because I feel you're like, it's dark colors, it's black, I'm gonna wear the all black outfit, and then I'll pop it with the shoes, it'll accent the color. No, you're too basic, you're thinking too small. Instead, you go for like an orange chino pant.
Mhm.
Not like super bright orange. Go for more of like that really pretty rust color that will also bring out the logo really well. And then do a non-discreet shoe, and also lose the hat.
What elo would you
I've
give
seen.
this?
Oh, we're going bronze. We went the wrong direction.
All right, so yeah, Gucci Hilly, you've seen it.
I've seen him walk into the makeup room in Gucci Hilly, and I was like, damn, the drip on this boy right now.
All right, let's move right along to fit number 3. I believe it's pool party.
This is probably your best outfit. You just didn't style it right.
What do you mean?
People think that you can't like mix and match patterns. Everyone's like, if I wear one pattern, it must be the same pattern, and I cannot wear too much of it. It's actually super cool when you mix patterns, as long as the base color is the same. So those shorts and that shirt would be hella fire if you just tucked your fucking shirt in and showed off your like waist. Do not be afraid of your man hips. The problem is that you're just wearing that shirt like a garbage bag right now.
All right, let's give it a quick elo.
If you tucked your shirt in, you're hitting easy diamond.
Whoa! Oh, okay, I'll take that. All right, let's go to fit number 4.
You're trying your best like my dad's a lawyer and I need to go to the Berlin club afterwards. Can we zoom in on the shirt? Can I get enhance?
You can tell I haven't worn this shirt for ages because it's got
Every
creases.
time we enhance, we go straight for like the dick shot, and I'm not sure why. Okay, the shirt doesn't quite fit you very well. I think it's in the collar. The shoulder's actually good, but the collar, maybe it'd be better if you buttoned it up. Your pant's too long. If your pant was short, this would be a fire hipster look, as long as you buttoned up your collar.
And the sock shoe combo, the sock sneakers.
The sock shoe combo is great.
What would you give this as an elo?
If your shorts were the correct length and your shirt collar wasn't so wide, this is the challenger look. This is it. You get a little bicycle cap on top, especially if it's in like a light color, and this is fire. I think because it doesn't fit you and the shorts are so egregious, we're back to silver.
Okay, that's a huge drop. That's a huge penalty for an ill-fitting shirt and 2 longer socks. Let's go to the very last one. All right, this is Sailor Tweet.
Look at how cute you are. I wouldn't have done
you so much.
necessarily maybe that exact shirt, but I like the idea with the stripes. I think if it was just more about like the stripes and not about like the weird, like, what is that, Tommy Hilfiger pocket? I think I like what you're doing with the contrast, because I like the mirroring of like the stripes in the socks to the vertical stripes on the shirt. I feel like if it was more about like hard lines, like just blue of the stripes, as opposed to like that weird square over your nipple, and especially if your shirt had like one red line at top and then it was all blue lines and it like mirrored the socks, I'd be like, as great.
What elo would you give this one? I feel like this could be the highest one yet.
No. I think that this is a solid plat outfit. It doesn't have the same like swagger and cool as like the mismatch patterns. It's not as bold. Like this is a pretty, like, you would see this outfit on any street corner in Shanghai.
Thank you so much, Frosk, for roasting my fits. I feel like I've learned a lot. We've had an amazing show. We've come to the end. Frosk, you've been an amazing guest. Thank you so much for coming on, roasting me, participating in our games.
Thank you for having me. And also for getting Rekkles to sit down. He's usually a hard man to get a hold of, so it's always an honor to ever get to pick his brain about things.
Please tune in. LEC, Frosk will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All got games. You'll see Frosk in action. You'll see Fnatic in action. We'll see you then. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.